Friends, the story begins with a frightened little boy hiding while a voice keeps calling, "Can, where are you, son?" Can is too scared to come out. A young girl gently approaches him and introduces herself as Bilge. Can honestly tells her he fell from a tree, got hurt, and needs an X-ray. Then he shares something deeper. He has a heart condition and has already gone through valve surgery. To calm him down, Bilge offers ice cream, and for the first time, Can feel safe with a stranger. Their childhood conversation slowly turns into a debate about fairy tales and miracles. Bilge believes that some stories are more than imagination, that true fairy tales can exist. She talks about the myth of Odysseus, the gates of the underworld, and the idea of returning from death. Can jokingly replies, "Then my fish would come back too." But behind that line hides his first experience with loss. Bilge admits it may sound ridiculous, yet she refuses to completely kill hope. During that New Year moment, a quiet wish takes root inside Can, like an invisible thread that will later connect two lives. The story then jumps to adulthood. Can now works at an excavation site, surrounded by co-workers joking and discussing ancient history. While others enjoy the moment, Can is still searching for something deeper. The team discovers a 6th century BC black figure amphora showing Cerberus, the three-headed guardian of the underworld, and Odysseus entering it. Someone calls it a miracle, and that word stays with Can because miracles have always meant something personal to him. Around the same site, a dog named Teo appears, rolling over and bonding with Can. That simple trick will later become an important sign. The focus shifts to Bilge's adult life. She works at a law firm, drowning in meetings, files, and pressure from her boss, Mr. Nedham. Her life is all work, no living. Bilge admits she never learned how to truly live, only how to survive. A childhood filled with fear of heart disease made her avoid risk, emotions, and closeness. For her, safety equals distance, and that choice has quietly shaped her entire life. Then one night, something impossible begins inside Bilge's apartment. She feels as if someone has broken in and starts shouting in panic, her heart racing out of control. The fear deepens when the voice she hears is not threatening, but strangely caring, warning her to take care of her heart. She tries to calm herself, but the voice keeps calling her by name, as if pulling forgotten memories out of her. When Bilge finally confronts it, the voice introduces itself as Can. She angrily denies it, calling it unreal, but Can proves otherwise by revealing details no stranger could know. The Millennium Night, the hospital, the X-ray, the broken arm, Bilge's heart condition, and even Nico's ice cream. He reminds her of the words he once wrote on the walls and the postcards he left behind. The more she resists, the stronger her certainty becomes. This cannot be random. Caught between fear and logic, Bilge asks for one thing. Let's meet. She wants proof. Can says he is at a hospital visiting a friend injured in a car accident. Bilge mocks it as a familiar excuse, accusing him of avoiding her again. Can insists there are reasons, then pulls back, saying that some miracles are not beautiful when they truly happen, and that he should leave her life. For Bilge, this feels less like rejection and more like mental torture, as the truth slips further away. Meanwhile, her real life starts falling apart. During an office meeting, Can's voice keeps echoing in her head until Bilge suddenly snaps and shouts for it to stop, shocking everyone. Her boss sends her home, sensing exhaustion. Later, Bilge breaks down in front of Ipek, admitting she has nothing beyond work, that she has buried her emotions for years, and that fear of her heart condition shaped her entire personality. She finally realizes her small world was only a safety cage. Desperate, Bilge visits a psychiatric clinic and admits she is hearing voices. The doctor blames stress and lack of sleep and prescribes medication. Yet the voice does not fade. Can returns, reminding her of a wish he made long ago, whispered in her ear. When Bilge asks what the wish was, there is only silence, as if even the universe is waiting. As their conversations grow deeper, Can finally explains the wish. He tells Bilge, "No one can hear me because I wished for you." Confused, Bilge asks what he really wished for. Can answers in the simple language of his childhood. If he ever became a star, he wished that this girl would find him and show him the way. Hearing this, Bilge's anger collapses. What she thought was a hallucination now feels like an old promise quietly coming true. Driven by regret, Bilge visits Nico's historic ice cream shop and discovers a trail of postcards left by Can over the years. Each one says, "Happy New Year," marked with different school grades, until the last line pierces her deeply. Do you still believe in fairy tales and miracles? Guilt overwhelms her. She meets Layla and asks about Can, only to hear that nothing has changed. Bilge keeps apologizing to Can, talking about trips they never took and memories they never made. but Can no longer responds. Soon the truth grows darker. After the excavation, Can was involved in an accident and is now in a coma. Yasemin admits everything happened too fast to remember clearly. At the same time, Aaron's story surfaces, linking Can to thieves. For Bilge, it's a double shock. A miraculous voice on one side and a ruined reputation on the other. She asks IPEC to dig into the excavation company, criminal records, and missing vehicles. IPEC finds a disturbing complaint from a village woman whose husband vanished weeks ago. The man claimed he was living with another woman and sent a photo with a ceiling that looked like a palace. Bilge sets the clue aside, unaware it will later unlock everything. Back home, Bilge decorates a New Year tree, leaving it half unfinished and telling Can to complete the rest. She begins treating him not as a voice, but as a presence. Reality soon interrupts again. Can is still in a coma, his parents face public shame, and Aaron's role must be exposed quickly. Can confirms that Aaron visited him in the hospital and said it would be better if he never woke up. Bilge decides the answers lie in Aaron's files at home. Since Can never sleeps, he stays with her through the night, helping her plan what comes next. The next morning, Bilge acts on Can's plan. As Aaron returns from his morning run, she deliberately bumps into him and apologizes. Aaron immediately softens, offers her coffee, and they exchange names. While Aaron talks, Can quietly coaches Bilge through her earpiece, guiding her responses and helping her charm him. The plan is simple but risky. Get close to Aaron, gain his trust, and access information inside his house. That night, the plan moves into full motion. Aaron takes Bilge out on a date, effortlessly turning archaeology and art into flirtation. Bilge stays alert, knowing she is there for evidence, not emotions. When Aaron casually suggests going back to his place, Can's anger flares. He clearly sees Aaron's intentions. Bilge decides she feels the same way. Aaron is just a tool to reach the truth. Back home, Bilge prepares for the evening. Torn between two dresses, Can comments non-stop, knowing exactly what Aaron would prefer. Bilge teases him, then chooses deliberately, reminding herself that this is part of the mission. The moment is awkwardly funny and painfully sad. Bilge getting ready for another man, while Can, trapped in a coma, can only watch and wish he were there himself. At the venue, Aaron is smooth and confident. He talks about archaeology, his childhood, and his mother being a tour guide, but quickly steers the conversation away, focusing instead on Bilge. He compliments her excessively, calling her a gift before the new year. Bilge smiles politely, while Can senses nothing but manipulation behind the charm. Soon, Aaron pushes again, suggesting they leave together. Bilge feels irritated but hides it, staying focused on her goal. When they finally reach Aaron's house, the lights are off, and the place feels unsettling. Bilge hesitates, but Can whispers calmly, reassuring her. Aaron is gone from the room, and Can points her toward the real target, the computer that may finally reveal the truth. Then the plan finally clicks into place. Bilge creates a distraction by triggering the car alarm, forcing Aaron to step outside. The moment he leaves, she rushes to his computer. The screen is password protected, but Can instantly gives the code, 171717. Once logged in, the truth begins to surface. The phone number the police traced to the thieves is saved in Aaron's contacts under the initials CT. Bilge immediately understands. Aaron is directly connected. She calls IPEC and asks her to dig up any criminal record linked to those initials. As Bilge follows Can's instructions, their bond deepens through playful banter. Can teases her about having a dirty mind, saying telepathy doesn't work like that. Bilge fires back, mocking his crime novel obsession and hidden fish habits, asking if he is trying to study her now. Their exchanges feel light, almost domestic. In the morning, Can greets her softly and jokes about how beautiful she looks when she wakes up. Bilge smiles genuinely for the first time, realizing that someone finally sees her. Despite the evidence, Can's mood grows darker. He reminds Bilge that he is still in a coma, blamed for theft, betrayed by a trusted friend, and forced to watch Bilge flirt with Aaron. Jealousy slips through his voice. Bilge admits she is experiencing strong emotions for the first time in her life. Can asks directly if she loves him. Bilge deflects, wondering if it is him she loves or his absence, yet the truth is clear. His voice has exposed her loneliness and turned it into attachment. Can then says something that changes everything. If his absence could affect her this deeply, imagine his presence. Bilge turns this into a New Year promise, insisting they will celebrate together. Can warns that adult wishes rarely work, but Bilge refuses to let hope die. When she asks what limbo feels like, Can explains that his feelings exist, but their place has shifted. He asks her to close her eyes and listen, then confesses that he wants to touch her, to feel her, even once, before admitting he cannot. For Bilge, that realization hurts the most. This love is proven not by presence, but by an absence that cannot touch back. Suddenly, Can's voice cuts off. Bilge panics, shouting his name, and at the same time an emergency unfolds at the hospital. His pulse drops, doctors rush in, alarms blare. In that moment, Bilge understands something terrifying. Can's voice is not imagination. When his body is in danger, the connection weakens too. After a tense pause, Can's voice returns. He admits he was scared as well, and quickly warns Bilge that Aaron is on the phone, talking about smuggling something that very night. Bilge's next move is decisive. Her boss, Mr. Nedham, calls and demands she come to the office because an important client is arriving. Bilge refuses outright. When he threatens to hand her case to someone else, she calmly agrees. With one sentence, she cuts off her old life, saying she is working on a far more important case and wishing him a happy new year. For the first time, Bilge chooses herself over work. At the hospital, chaos grows. Lawyers arrive, accusations fly, and messages are presented to frame Can as connected to the thieves. Bilge is furious. Aaron pretends to stay calm, but Bilge overhears the most dangerous conversation of all. Aaron meeting the sponsor company's CEO. Together, they plan to send the amphora abroad, distract guests, and dump the blame on either the thieves or Can. Bilge realizes the truth. The New Year party is their execution point. She rushes home and finds the burgundy invitation to the party, along with a book, The Legend of Odysseus. Can softly says the book was his, closing a loop from their childhood. Then the door opens. Layla, Can's mother. She recognizes Bilge, threatens to call the police, and refuses to listen. Can insists Bilge must tell the truth, but Layla does not believe her when Bilge says Can is with her right now. As a last attempt, Bilge tries to prove it using Teo, the dog who only rolls over on Can's command. She calls out, but Teo does nothing. Layla's trust shatters completely, and Bilge is thrown out. Aaron immediately exploits this, telling Layla that Bilge was searching drawers and might be the real culprit. Security footage is reviewed, zooming in on Bilge holding the invitation. Bilge realizes the danger has escalated. Aaron is now alert, and time is running out. Friends, the New Year party is now in full motion. A palace-like venue filled with sponsors, lights, music, and hollow smiles. While making polite conversation, Bilge hears a sponsor woman casually remark that if someone had told her 2 weeks ago that an accident, a coma, and New Year's Eve would all connect to celebrating in a palace like this, she would never have believed it. That single line hits Bilge like a dagger. Instantly, she remembers the photo from IPEC's file, the so-called palace ceiling. Bilge's eyes start scanning the venue. The stains, the logos, the structure of the ceiling, it all feels disturbingly familiar. She immediately calls IPEC, who finally gives her the missing man's name, Celal Topkur. Bilge realizes she now has two connected threads in her hands, the amphora smuggling plan and Celal's mysterious palace location. Her priority becomes clear. Find Celal first, then expose Aaron, because the amphora is moving from here. At that moment, a call comes from the law firm claiming they know who stole the amphora and that it must be stopped immediately. Bilge orders the area to be secured and nothing disturbed. Ken urges her not to waste time, reminding her that Aaron and the sponsor, CEO's narrow window is about to close. Moving through the venue, Bilge keeps rejecting spaces. Not here, not this one, until she suddenly freezes. The ceiling matches perfectly. This is the place. Bilge understands the truth. The palace was never about luxury or romance. It was a staged prison. Earlier, she had overheard Aaron and the sponsor, CEO, discussing their plan. Use a pawn, shift the blame, and if everything fails, pin it all on Can. Aaron even mocked how the pawn was kept comfortable enough to feel like a king. The champagne, desserts, and palace setting were just camouflage, disguising captivity as reward. Standing beneath the matching ceiling, Bilge connects everything. The missing woman's assumption about another woman was wrong. This place was not a lover's hideout. It was an evidence warehouse, hiding both stolen artifacts and a trapped man. Just as she reaches this realization, a voice greets her calmly. "Happy New Year, Bilge." The words are both terrifying and relieving. Someone has spotted her, but she is in the right place. Bilge steadies herself, reminding herself to stay calm. Around her, the party continues uninterrupted, with staff reassuring guests that everything is fine. Here, even danger is carefully buried under music, laughter, and celebration. Because in this palace, control matters more than truth. Bilge finally finds the proof she has been fighting for all night. Celal's belongings, and most clearly, a shirt with the exact same stain and logo from the complaint photo. Can's voice softly wishes her Happy New Year, but instead of relief, Bilge feels her heart spiral out of control. She asks Can to do something, but all he can beg for is that she stay calm and breathe. Her body can't keep up. Surrounded by the crowd, voices ask if she's okay. Then Bilge collapses. Panic erupts. People shout for help. An ambulance is called, and she is carefully carried down the stairs. Can's voice turns desperate, calling her name again and again. In the middle of this chaos, the police arrive and arrest Aaron on the spot. An officer calmly informs him that he is being detained for smuggling historical artifacts, adding that with witness testimonies, the trial may be short. Aaron tries to deflect, calling it a misunderstanding, denying the accident, but the police shut him down and take him away. As Bilge is rushed out on a stretcher, Can's fading voice pleads with her not to leave. The scene shifts to Gundodu Hospital. Bilge is critical. Inotropes are maxed out, her heart is barely contracting, ECMO is inserted, and an urgent heart transplant is requested. She is placed on the waiting list, but the doctors are brutally honest. Time may run out before a suitable match is found. Inside the operating area, another layer of truth surfaces. Someone remembers her and says, "Do you remember Bilge? She's Can's friend." The staff recall how Can wrote on every New Year postcard, "Help me find Bilge," always adding, "I wonder if her heart has healed." Here, heart is no metaphor anymore. It is medical reality. What once sounded like curiosity now feels like prophecy. From limbo, Can's perspective grows louder and clearer. He calls out to his mother, softly identifying Bilge as "my sweet daughter." Through tears, he says this moment was always leading here. He knows with absolute certainty that his heart will be a match. In complete surrender, he begs his mother to let him go and give Bilge his heart, repeating the plea again and again. Then one last anchor appears in his mind. Teo. Can whispers for the dog, giving the command only Teo understands, believing this is his final chance. His wish has come true. Bilge briefly regains consciousness and jokes weakly that she is not dead yet, but Can pulls her into the truth. There is no time. He tells her his heart is the answer. Bilge immediately refuses. Can insists this is the only way. In that moment, love is defined in a single act, choosing to give yourself so someone else can live. They remember their New Year promise. Can tells her they will celebrate together. Bilge replies that he will celebrate, not her. As he prepares to leave, he gives her purpose. There are still many treasures for her to find. Bilge answers through tears that she has already found the most precious one. The most devastating impact falls on Layla, Can's mother. She begs him not to do it, unable to accept losing him after he survived the coma. Can gently reassures her that he will always be there when she wants to talk. In the real world, the final question is asked, "Do you want to save Bilge's life, son?" Layla cries as the decision is made. Teo is called. The command is given. Wish, choice, and sacrifice lock into a single moment. Before fading, Can makes one last, secret wish and asks Bilge never to stop believing in fairy tales. They both say, "I love you so much." His goodbye is playful, almost teasing. Maybe this time, he is the one making the wish. The screen fades with a final stamp. Found by archaeologist D. Kintaran, and the story leaves one truth behind. Sometimes a miracle does not mean finding something. Sometimes a miracle means giving everything.